All right. We are live once again. Sorry, but I lost my internet connection. It went blank. Streaming yard closed up on me and everything. And I was checking. Um, I thought I was connected. I wasn't. All right. So we're back. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. I'm back. I hope people ain't going to the old thing because that got disconnected. I had to get back up again on there. But yeah, it just went blank. We're talking about what's his name. Uh, I don't know if I was maybe because I was looking at his suspended channel. I have no idea, but that is pretty terrible. That was pretty crappy. All right, yeah, I don't know what happened. I was just explaining something and it all went blank. All of a sudden, it just went dark and it was showing that it was like reloading or whatever. And I tried getting it back and it was telling me my internet connection's interrupted. And then I've been having really big problems all through this storm with uploading videos, my internet connection, and at the TV never went out. It kind of acted a little strange. And you'd lose stuff on the cable every now and again. But trying to upload a video, it takes forever. What froze? The thing? Yeah, I couldn't go back and turn it off. Okay, it just it just dropped everything. The StreamYard, the whole. And when I hit the back button, I was not on the website or anything anymore. All right, so you guys are getting back good, but yeah, that was I don't know what the hell it was. Been out since yesterday. And that's up there. That's north of Reedsville. Uh, so yeah, see where I am, my feed comes down to Randolph County, so it's Asheboro is where uh, I guess all my service comes up from. And the schools, okay, yeah, all right, so I'm understanding you. The schools were out, morning, Tim. And I was thinking that with all the kids home, because Randolph County closed the schools all last week. So there were no kids. I mean, Guilford, they were going to school Thursday and Friday up in Greensboro. Um, but Randolph closed 2 weeks straight. So that because I guess the way the roads are and where people live, it was more difficult for the kids to get out. There were adults. There was one guy calling around everybody at the one bar asking them to give him a ride to work because where he lived, with the foot and a half of snow, he couldn't get his vehicle out. He needed somebody to come get him and take his ass to work. So, yeah, but that was strange because I was talking to Navy vet there, and I guess he got suspended. So I guess, oh yeah, you can get on live because when the Gun Geek, that's how when I got suspended. I got suspended for 2 weeks or something. The Gun Geek had a live show and I was able to get on and leave comments on his live broadcast, and that's the only way people knew I was suspended because they caught me. They caught me in a double thing. I said something about the plague, and then I had a polymer 80 build video, so they burned me. And the Polymer 80 bill was up for over a year. So, you know, with all the videos, I think I got almost, let me see how many videos I have altogether. It's close to almost 3,000 over the years that I've done. Content. Shorts, videos, views. Let's look on a dashboard. Subscribers are still 26,000. I don't have a total on the videos. Content. I forgot where it was, but it's upwards close to 3,000 videos. No, they don't. No, this was catastrophic. Things here. I only got 4. I was getting about 10, 15 people. I don't know what happened to everybody. I only got 4 viewers now. Yeah, there was Marine Gun Builder or something. That guy had extensive. His whole channel was doing Polymer 80s. Okay, that's it. I mean, he was hugely popular. He'd go in there and tell you how to polish this and do this and everything. And I mean, he was going great guns, and they shut him down. I don't even think he's around anymore. Let's check on that. Marine Gun Builder P80. Yeah, 1 year ago. And he's only got like a dozen 27 videos. That's all he's got. Oh, that's how I'll find out how many videos I got. All right, so I got 26.7K subscribers and 2.9K videos on my channel. And there's my family of raccoons. But yes, Marine Gun Builder has not posted in over 1 year, and there's only 27 videos up there. That guy had a ton of stuff. I mean, he was good. I used to watch all his videos. Okay, the guy was good on that stuff. And I mean, he went in. Yeah, 2.9K. Thank you. No, don't really need anything. Driving there from northern Indiana now. All right, that's good. Glad you can join us. Yeah, I had some videos, but and that's after I deleted 100 videos. Just out of curiosity, what was your commission? Because one guy, he was here. He isn't here now, but that Peter there said something about I was going to get to him, but then we got knocked out. So I don't know why these guys don't come back. You know, several people did. What was the commission on the auction? Some of them are getting up to altogether, especially if you use like iCollector, Proxy Bid, or something. A lot of these auctions end up with like a 24%, some 26% auction thing. Yeah, he's good. All right, there you're back. Now you were asking about the auctions, and somebody just mentioned it because I was thinking about you here. This fellow here won a Mauser on there, and you were saying about that, and it was on Gunbroker. So so you didn't pay you paid shipping and handling and sales. But yeah, it used to be if you paid in cash, sent them a check or a bank transfer, a lot of these places, it was 15 or 16% commission. Okay. Now, because you're going through and bidding live, which I've done that several times, I like going there and be able to bid live and everything. And I've won a few items. It got up to 18, then it was 20. But some of the last auctions I've been in, some of them were the timed ones where it just runs down. It's like 24 to 25 plus, like he's saying here. 21 to 25. It's no longer. It used to be 15 for cash, 18 for a credit card or something. Because they were charging you the fee. 3% or something, 3-4%. But even when you go, well, it depends on the auction house. Where I bought that little Argentine gun, there was no percentage to the buyer. It was probably all set percentage to the seller. So it depends how the auction runs. Like if I list something, and several people have asked me on the Gunbroker with Lock, Stock, and Barrel, okay, they'll even drive from God knows where they're coming from, out west somewhere. I don't even know if it's North Dakota or something. They will come to the house when they're making their route. And I guess if you got enough stuff, you got to have, more than one, like selling a $200 gun. I don't really believe they'll drive to get it. But when you sell a grouping of stuff, and a couple, the value's up there, a few K, they'll come get the stuff and you sign the contract and everything. And what they do is they start it off at a penny. Whatever the hammer is on it, it's good. They take 20%. Okay, they don't charge the buyer none of that crap. And I broke even. I can't complain. I made money on some. I kind of lost money on some, but I broke even. And some of the stuff in there was junk. I never be able to sell anyway. But and some of it was good. Kind of went. Some of the more interesting stuff went for about what I had in it or what it was about actually worth. Didn't go crazy. And I lost 20%, on it. But the stuff I did make money on made up for it. So that's kind of the way it goes. Yeah, between 19 and 25%. Okay. Now my curiosity is, are these places like charging you a buyer's fee, and are they charging a commission to the seller? Okay. I really don't know any place that does not charge a commission on the seller, a percentage of some places. That I kind of can't agree with, because I did a lot of, well, there's several guns I've won. Excuse me. Or on these auctions, I just put some ridiculous, they open them up 2-3 weeks. I put a ridiculously low amount on there, even with that Star Model B. If you watch the video on that, I just put this low bid on this thing. Okay. And I won it. That chrome plated Ruby pistol was another one. I put some insane bid on there. There was, just screwing around. I wanted to see what it was worth. And I ended up winning the pistol. Okay. Yeah. Granted, with 24% fees and that, added another, almost another, with shipping and handling, another C note on them. But I still got the guns at a fairly reasonable rate. Probably a lot less lower. I went to a gun show and tried buying them for somebody. So you can, okay? It just depends. The market right now is crazy. I've seen some really rare off the wall stuff come up, and I mean the prices went up. But I see a lot of the mill surplus where stuff was going for $6 bills, $7 bills. Now you're seeing it, but then again, you got to also put the 25% in there. I'm seeing stuff go somewhere, under $5 for stuff that if you tried bidding on it, man, I mean, people would bid that stuff up in $7 bills, for like Enfields and stuff. Yeah, they're a pretty good company. Yeah, it does both. Gets them coming and going. Okay, see, I don't know, because there's so many auction companies out there. I haven't done business with all of them, and the only ones I've sold anything to or had on was with Lock, Stock, and Barrel, because let's see what the hell. Buyer's premium. I don't know. I'm still fooling around. I may build a couple more retro guns. PSA said they're coming out with a dissipator, a retro dissipator that I want, and I'm working on saving up some money to get the XM16. That's in the works. That'll be the next one. But I bought a damn upper, like I was talking about early in the other one. I bought upper that was cheap. That I'm just going to take a bunch of parts, put them together. Yeah, but see, I go to 15, 20 hours. That's what I do all day long. Go down there, and I mean, like I said, that it was over this past year. There was 2 times I ended up with something. It depends. It didn't freeze on this end. I didn't see that. Okay, so it has to be, hang on, this uploading here on my end of it must be screwed up. I'm going to run a test. Okay, see that. All right. Okay. Back again. All right, everybody stand by. I'm going to run a test on the upload speed. Download speed 600 Mbps. And the upload speed, this is the one. Okay, I'm still there. I think no, I'm not. I'm frozen. All right. 11. Actually, that's in good shape. So I don't know. That's higher. That number's been higher than what it's been in the past 2 weeks at 11. So uploads good. All right, morning. Yeah, okay. So you got Spectrum too. I know a couple of you guys got Spectrum like I do. All right, so yeah, that upload speed is the highest it's been. It's been like a point something, and that I could not upload videos to save my life. And I don't know what it all happened. From what I can tell, where everybody being home for 2 weeks nonstop, every school kid, okay, overloaded the system. And like what's his name there was saying, Mr. Big Country, that they actually lost the TV for a while up there, about an hour's drive from where I live. So who knows? I know that my wife was watching the Olympics and it kind of broke up a little bit yesterday on us. And I tried uploading something to Rumble and it took like 8 hours when it should take about 20 minutes. Verizon data. All right, so I don't know. Okay, that was the first time that happened to me. On my end, I was saying something, the screen went blank, and then it shows that it's reloading. And then when it said you're not connected to the internet, I tried to go back and then refresh the connection, and I lost everything on that. Yeah, which FFL is that? You can get a good lower for about $40. Either PSA, some of the Andersons they had for 32, and I went to get some, but I've already got a pile of ARs. I'm trying to clean up my parts. That's why I bought Vail. Okay. But I've been trying just to clean up all these parts I got lying around. And that's why I bought when I had that 180 some units for barreled upper from Aero Precision, and it had, I'll do a video on it. It's one of my favorite builds. And it just had this upper set up, had the F front sight post with a flat top, 1.7, not chrome line like I like, but it was a $400 MSRP on it. And I know PSA, I've had a lot of PSA guns. There's something about the barrels on their uppers and that just when I clean them and that, I don't know, they were I think they were getting them from Remington before they shut down. And because I got some stuff when Remington went bankrupt, they were selling barreled uppers online. And something about when you look at them, the material they cut them barrels out of, I don't know, they shot all right, but I don't know. So we'll see. A lot of places don't tell you who makes their barrels. The one I got I got that upper, that XM177 upper, on a deal from Brownells, and that thing shoots great. I mean, that was a deal, and that was Mr. Guns and Gear. That was one of the things that he had in his daily email, and I went and bought that. And that thing was fantastic. It was well worth the money. Got it at a value. Of course, that stuff ain't cheap either. And barreled upper receivers go 7 bills, 8, 9, depending on what you get. So grabbing one all set and ready to go for 6 or something. I think I say how much I paid for it. The video it was a pretty good deal, and it shoots pretty damn good. But somebody was asking me what I was looking into. I almost got tempted to buy one of them Caltech P17s or whatever the hell, the little 5.7 pistol with the top loader, but I seen somebody shoot one of them, and that thing did not work worth a damn. And now they got something like that with a rotary barrel in 380, and the MSRP is 4 bills. I mean, the lowest I've seen them, they'll knock 20 off of them or something. And it was kind of one of these deals, but I got some bills to pay, and I'm trying to wrap up some more retro stuff. That stuff's not cheap. But I may go and run some tests on them. I'm really not a fan of the 5.7. All right. Yeah. I was using them. I've used the 20 rounders. They work good. They work okay. The waffle ones they're much like the originals. You got to tap them and everything, but they somewhat work. I've never loaded 20 in them. I may in one of the retro runs. Once I get it going, I'll load up 20 rounder and do some 100-yard shooting. But you say, yeah, I had that Turkish one. It did work okay, but I ended up liquidating that to finance something else. The 5.7 really, one guy did a gel block test, or ballistic gel in it. He fired one of them, and he fired 9mm ball, went in kind of straight. And of course, that thing, like the controversy, the M16s, and that hit, it tumbles. Okay. It's hard to say, but the ammo's expensive. You really can't reload it. They got a lacquer or some sort of lubrication on them. And I understand why they do that. See, that's what I kind of don't like about it. How does that lacquer or lubrication hold up over time? But that's because it was in that weird 50-round magazine, and I think the P90, see on Stargate SG1, and it feeds them and then turns them, and it's a pretty straight wall or body also, because that's where they had to have the weird 50-round magazines. That was the prerequisite when they come up with the cartridge and the guns and all that other weird stuff. But to say it's going to replace the 9mm, no. Okay, there's too many inexpensive 9s, and the ammo is too cheap. I think what's his name there, the blind sniper, was talking about cheapest ammo is 22 and 9mm. I think were the ones that he brought up in they get pretty crazy. Okay, again, lock, stock, and barrel. See, the only bad thing about them is like somebody must have had a grouping of these pistols. They had a whole bunch of Nambus in one of their 2-week auction periods. I mean, like 6 of them. And but still, they go for $7 bills. It depends. They come with holsters or whatever. 7 more or more, you know. I mean, for years, people didn't really give a damn about them because you didn't have no ammo. And then reloading ammo, I've done it. But then come to find out, I believe my extractor is, because I put one type in there and after firing so many rounds through it, it started malfunctioning. And I looked, and the damn thing is made out of some soft metal. I had to bend it back and put it back in the top of the bolt there. And there's still that guy that fabricates them, but I forget what it is, and I have to send him the bolt to him and have him fabricate whatever the hell. So I don't know. But I've shot them. They're an interesting gun. That brass I bought was $1 a case. You know. Well, it depends. You know, they work. If you get the correct ammo, they'll function. The trick is you got to hand load the ammo with a certain bullet. There's 2 types of bullets. The little short one, forget it. It don't work. The gun won't work worth the crap. And that's what a lot of the ammo you see had, that lighter bullet. You put the longer one in there, and if you just grip that like on an 1/8 inch of that bullet, get the correct length in that, and just use bullseye, and they'll fire. They'll work. You know. But yeah, get one. Say you have one. What the hell? You know, I start trying to crank out some more videos with my upload problems and that, and then not really doing nothing. I have to de-Californiaize AR. That's what I was describing before I kicked out. Let's see what the hell you got here. Yeah, those, I seen one somebody had, it looked like a PPSH or something. They wanted quite a bit of money for it. 9mm carbines, you know, you're better off with a 16-inch barrel AR. But yeah, speaking of which, had this AR. It was a Diamondback AR. And I remember it was in an auction for veterans thing or something, some kind of fundraiser. And guy had this. I don't know if somebody donated it or how they get the prizes, but you do see them. The VFW gave away a Springfield M1A1. And I think this guy just bought a ticket and won it. He didn't even know what the hell it was. I mean, oh my God. But anyway, sometimes, you know, I take a shot at him. But anyway, I was looking at this gun, and it ended up it was a silent auction or a raffle or something. Something happened. They didn't have the turnout that they did, and the guy shelved it, kind of canceled the thing. Oh, it was going to be a silent auction. They canceled the auction. So then he ended up trying to give it away as a prize in a raffle. And because, and I didn't even notice it, I did notice on the rear takedown there was a round, like, keyring thing on the takedown. He'd pull it and drop it. I only looked at the gun for a second. I didn't realize it had that weird California compliant thing in there where it's a 10-round magazine, and when you got the gun closed, there's this contraption that locks the mag release. And what you have to do is pull the rear takedown pin, break the action open, and it relieves this big arm that comes up. And then you can eject the clip. You could close the gun and insert a clip and it'll lock in. But to get the clip, the empty clip out of the gun, you got to break the action. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So he tried in a couple fundraisers. One person didn't want it like that, and I don't know if they gave him a cash payout. And then the other person, when they did a background check, couldn't get the gun or receive it. So I don't know how my friend. I don't know if he just paid the guy off and kept the damn thing or whatever, gave him whatever the prize value was. But now he's got it and he wants this out. So I did a video where I showed that how it works. And on Rumble, I'll do a video because like Navy vet there got suspended for probably folding up his SETME-C receiver. I'm going to show you how I'm going to remove that device and get it to working normal again. But that part of the video and how that thing works very closely and all this and disassembly will be done on Rumble. But the Diamondbacks, now this gun's got a 745, say 7.5 units MSRP. The Diamondback gun is a lot better than other ones, the budget guns I've been looking at, the Anderson, the Radical Firearms, and then the other one I did. You know, they were nice guns, but this has Magpul furniture, the pistol grip and stock, which is a lot better. And also with them free floating handguards, this thing's got the tabs on there. And I think the lower receiver net's proprietary. It's not the standard military shape. It's fancier. Got a trigger guard that's, part of the lower. So a lot of nicer things. I don't know if I'll be able to go out and shoot it because once I get this done, I'm going to try to get it back to the guy that owns it. But they do have a higher price point, and I've never seen them. They may barely tip down below $5, okay, without, no sight, just a flat top. But it outwardly and just handling it, it's a much better gun for the money. So, you'd have to see if they come up for sale, but they're not in the budget class of the 400 beans. All right. They came from Canada. Ball flag. See, I don't even know what the flags and stuff are. There's so much repro stuff out there. Japanese leather goods, and I don't remember seeing a lot of it when I was younger. The bayonets and the rifles are all over the place, and nobody wanted them back in the 70s, 80s. The flags, you used to get them from the vets, but now they make repros of all this stuff. So it's tough. That's why I kind of got out of the military collectibles. They were making so many fake badges, so many decorations, and then helmets, bayonets, that's why I kind of got out of all that. Yeah, 9mm, 100 yards, it's kind of pushing it. If you had a 45 carbine, it might make it out there, but out of a handgun, a 45 ACP out of a 1911, it hits the ground at 75 yards. Okay, I've shot pistol at 100 yards, and the 9mm and the 38 will hit the backstop. Okay, it ain't no accuracy, but it doesn't hit the ground. 45 will. Morning. All right, morning. Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, when I was testing those pistols, the polymer 5.56 pistol with 7-inch barrel, I can't hold the thing steady enough in the recoil to hit anything at 50 yards with it. And even the jawbone, I mean, yeah, it's a cool gun. It's neat at 25 yards. 50, I was hitting, like you said, you're not going to get match accuracy. If you can hit a person at that distance, you're doing good. You um, the practicality of them, you know, I still got my 9 millimeter, 16-inch barrel AR, but because I had so much money into it when I put it together and bought it, when they were high, I can't sell the thing for even 50% of what I got into it. And the guns only had maybe 300-400 rounds through it. So that's one of them things that's going to stay with me, much like I said, these retros. I've seen some of them come up for sale. They're asking about what they're worth, 1.5K for a nice one in good shape, but you don't see a whole bunch of people beating the door down to get them. You know, that's the thing. You got to really like that stuff, and I enjoy it. For me, spending the money on it, it's what I enjoy and like to shoot. And I know they'll shoot so much through it, fool them for a while and that, and then I'll end up in the safe and sit there like a lot of the other expensive firearms that I have. I was going to make a video. I got a couple black powder guns I picked up. I got a brass frame uh, Remington new model 38 or something. I got it. Um, Actually, the reason was the brass frame's so huge and heavy. It wasn't like the Colts. That's why I was gonna shoot that, see how it goes. Doesn't look like somebody did shoot it, but not much. It's not loose. The frame ain't all stretched out. And I got that, I think Thompson Center 54 Hawken. I've been meaning to get out and shoot that, but Jeremiah Johnson, you know, gun. I'd like to go out and shoot some of those. I don't know. That's what the salesman said. See, most people, if you got a 1 and 7 will shoot 55 grain ammo. And a 1 and 7, everyone you listen to that talks about an AR-15 tells you that 68 or 77 grain ammo is the most accurate match ammo and all this other stuff. And you're not going to shoot a 77 grain bullet in something with a 1 in 12 twist. Okay. You're not dealing with people that adapt to the firearm other than modifying the firearm to suit whatever needs they have. And it's just like anything else. Okay. If the thing don't sell, they stop making it. That's why, like Brownells, that prototype with the little hook charging handle in it, coolest thing there was, they couldn't sell them. Okay, nobody was buying them, and they were quite expensive. Okay, a couple guys that are really into ARs bought them, but then it's kind of like the most popular retro model out of all the models. Okay, be it the prototype, the 601, okay, the XM16 or whatever, is the M16A1, because you kind of don't see them no more with the triangular handguard, the barrel, and that. And I guess some people like you were asking me get into the 1960s genre. I've lived through it. Okay, uh, you know, that's popular. That's what they want. But then again, when they go with their stash of ammo for their God knows what AR-15 that they have, they probably are running a heavier bullet, and it don't work well. So people don't buy them. So they're gonna stop making them. You know, it's kind of the way it goes. Thumbs up, yeah, yeah. I mean, I could use it. Thumbs up would help. Yeah, I mean, like I said, practicality of it. Better off with a AR carbine wide open. Yeah, I mean, if you got a 16-inch barrel, you're giving it enough juice. I had one. I had a 16-inch barrel. I shoot it at 100 yards. You pull the trigger, the gun will go off. There'd be a pause, and then you'd hear the bullet hit the wooden backstop, the plywood. So boom, you know. Nope, not at all. Never got into fishing. That's something I don't participate in. Is that a carbine you're talking about? You're talking about the carbines. Yeah, because they somebody did at one time make the original 1 and 14s. Now I might be going back 5, 6 years ago, and they had a run on them. I would really love to get my hands on a pencil barrel 20-inch 1 and 14 twist just to compare it to the others. But I've looked, and the one company, and that's another thing. Retro rifles, stay away from them. I ordered a couple, a forward assist, and I think some washers and a few roll pins. And I did that in November. I haven't heard from them. I had to go to my credit card company, and they're going to dispute it and get the charge back. It ain't a ton of money, but there's some people that drop hundreds. You know, I'm talking less than half a cino just on some parts. But I tried calling them, emailing them, but yeah, that'd be fun. Because the 1 and 7s, that 177 that I got, that's a 1 and 7 twist. That thing shoots great. You know, shoots nice. But that's what they said at the SHOT Show interview. You can still get stuff with a 1 and 12 barrel on their website. How long? I don't know. It's just the guy's comment. Pistol. Yeah. Well, we're talking 100 yards with the carbine. No, 601s were probably 1 and 14. The original protos were 1 and 14. It wasn't until the 601s that had it, and probably the early 603 or 604, whatever the hell the Air Force was getting. And the only difference between that and 601 was the color of the stock. The early ones were 1 and 14. It wasn't until the government started testing them and they didn't like it. And it was after uh, LeMay bought some for the Air Force, and he tested them, liked them, and because LeMay was, so high up there, the U.S. government rejected the prototypes. The U.S. government rejected the 601 and all this, but LeMay wanted what became the 603 or 604. He forced the government into testing these things, okay? And it's during that testing in the early 60s, and Special Forces got their hands on some 601s and stuff. I think by the time the 604, yeah, to change it, the early guns they first bought had 1 and 14s, and then somewhere in the testing in the early 60s, and Special Forces had them. And that's where they got the thing with the 1 and 14s. It didn't quite stabilize the bullet. So the minute it hit soft tissue, man, it tore up stuff. And they filed some kind of classified report saying that this thing was deadly. And even until I was in my 20s in the service, they were telling me these stories. And I remember my old man heard from guys that came to work on a job site with him that got discharged from NAM, that these guns would rip you to shreds and cause hideous wounds, tear off. Well, my buddy was in the Marine Corps, and he said somebody went to the armory. This is on a base. Went to the armory and acted up or something, did something, and one of the guards shot him at pretty close range. And he said it took his arm off. He hit him in the arm somewhere, and he goes, it severed the arm right off of him. So that's what he said. I didn't see photographs or nothing, but yeah, small bullets, high velocity. See, and they say the 1 and 12 overstabilized the bullet, was the argument. Yeah, well, you see, when they tie up stock, it's like the gunpowder. There's certain gunpowders I love, but they couldn't sell enough of it, so they just stopped producing it. I mean, it used to be they'd make it, even if they made it once every 2 years or something, they just cut them out now. If it don't sell, they stop making it. And this is what the guy said at PSA from the SHOT Show, that people do not buy the 1 and 12 twist barrels. So and you see a lot of their newer options are not that gray. They're black, be it for the M16A1 or any of the versions. They're all black, and they got 1.7 twist barrels. Okay, so yeah, don't know. 16 inches you can't hit. But yeah, so that kind of is what it is with anything. If somebody doesn't buy it, or if it don't move, then that's what all these discount guns were. With the last panic, they just overproduced all these firearms, and there's piles of them. And several, you got to remember, several makers. Anderson was sold off. I guess High Point puts their roll mark on the Anderson products now. What was it? Olympia or Olympic Firearms. They made ARs way back up there in Washington. They've been closed, but that was a long time ago. I remember that, getting a catalog. They're one of the few places back in the 80s where you could buy ARs and stuff, or clones or different variations. Delton closed for lack of production. And several other companies just stopped producing certain models because they're not selling. They haven't closed. But there's less and less AR makers. And if you look at, you guys talking about auctions and that, Colt, SP1s go for quite a bit of money, couple 2K or so, for used ones. And let me look at my watch list. I've been looking at several ARs, and depending on the make, Andersons and some other the lower end ones, they don't go much higher. They got bids of 3.5 and stuff like that on them. They don't go over 4 beans for a used one. There's another one of these California jobs here. It's a neat little gun, short one. Let's see where it goes. That's 7 days on that one. But I got a couple here that are ending in 10 hours, and they're not over 3.5. So used ARs too, Yeah, I did, and I doubt that they would. Okay, it's like anything. You saw off any rifle. And I could get into it, the M16. All right, Peter, take it easy. Of course, they're not standing where you're being shot at. See, this is the difference. Shooting a gun and the sound and recoil is different than when you are down where that target is being shot at. Okay. And, he has no way of knowing. The whole idea of that device was to make it sound different, not silence it, not reduce the flash. They figured out that the flash, no matter what the hell you put on there, the flash is way too much. That's why I never, the M44 rifles, they were given to the North Vietnamese, and in the daylight there's a fireball. So if it's dusk or at night and you start shooting them, I mean, man, you're giving away your position big time. Okay. Of course, them little stubby M16s too, like a giant spotlight blinking. But yeah, they really don't do it. And another interesting thing, when I bought the books and read up on it, none of those guns, any of the XM177s, and there's that other little model with the little sawed-off stock that collapses with the rod. I forget, 604 or 607 or something. Which PSA is making one of them, but it's a short barrel rifle. That's only got a 10-inch barrel. And the guy said the United States government never adopted officially any of those firearms. They were all bought off the shelf, and it wasn't until they developed the M4 carbine that was accepted by the government. All that stuff was available for foreign sales and all this other crap. And you see, like special forces and SEALs, them guys, they had the abilities, like the Stoner systems. The Navy SEAL used the Stoner system for years. They loved it. Okay, but it was never in the military supply system. Okay. They have the privilege of buying stuff that they want for their needs. Okay, so all that stuff, even though you see it, and there was a bunch of them bought and used by special forces and SOG and all that other stuff, they were never officially adopted by the military. They weren't a standardized weapon. So that was interesting too. And I think they just left them all there and probably. and that. But yeah, let's see. Okay, been here so far. So we got about 19 people. Some of the people came back, some left. Uh, Thought about getting some original AR furniture. They got it online, but they want a ton of money for it. I'd rather just use the plastic stuff. It's fiberglass, is what it is. You know. Now, I ain't gonna, because they want a lot of money for it too. Delta. Well, Andersons are being made under the High Points uh, name, and they are identical to that one gun I got, the Anderson utility rifle, and they're just a C note more. Okay, so or 100.5 more, but I don't know. I don't know if Ruger's starting to form a conglomerate and buying up all these things, or what's going on. All right, there you are. Okay. Yeah, I seen that. I seen where you were taking it apart. Uh, so you were bending it, were you? See, they got it written in a way. They don't like say taking a gun apart, or some of the guys put a thing there that field stripping this for maintenance. It's not a modification, but a lot of people, I think, got burnt one way or the other. Nobody takes apart a gun on YouTube no more. And it's something about fabricating. So yeah, so if you go and take the strip lower and start showing how to put the parts in, that is building a gun, and they'll get you. You know. Nevertheless, but there's still videos where I see people bending receivers and that. I don't know. I don't know how they figured that out. I still see people casting bullets, and I had to take all my bullet casting videos down. I don't know, because they're already starting crap with ammo. I heard that, not so much in my state, but New York. If you want to go buy a box of 22s, my buddy told me, you go into the store, you fill out a damn thing like buying a gun. They do a background check on you, and then if you're approved, you got to come back the next day to pick up the ammunition that you paid for. You got to wait 24 hours to get it. Okay. California's doing some kind of thing where anyone who sells ammo, because you don't need an FFL to sell ammunition or holsters or sights or anything. But now they want it to where you can't send ammo in the mail. I think this is where you got to watch these guys. They're talking about a state enforcing laws, not the federal government. Okay. And in California already, I know some states you either got to have a card, or in California, you have to send the ammo to an FFL and get the background check like buying a gun and that. Well, now they don't want, I don't know what the hell they're doing. But IMR, probably for political reasons, I don't believe they're going to ramp up stuff, because there is pressure. Backdoor gun control. They can't get them to ban this stuff and all this other crazy shit. I think the reason we can't get powder and why it's so expensive and it's not going to come down is like I said, all the ammunition makers, their biggest customers, the U.S. government. And if somebody puts pressure on them to make it hard for us to get ammo, they're going to do it. Okay, whether they really want to or not. That's what I believe is going on. Hold on. So what's going on out there? All right. But no, I don't think they are going to. The old Sig P, never owned one. Can't really tell you. I think I looked at one once years ago. All right, Palmetto and Smith buying up company. Okay, yeah, they're consolidating again like they did with Remington doing that. More shooting with the G-Force G25 shotgun. How is it running? I believe that one I do not own anymore. Okay, and it ran fine while I had it. And all the shotguns. I mean, all I'm doing is tearing down the backer boards. Once I test them, some of them I kept, some of them I didn't. You know, firing buckshot or slugs at a board and tearing it to shreds. You know, not a lot of skill involved as long as the weapon functions. You know, one of them proximity weapons. Yeah, like I said, just putting parts into a lower is manufacturing a gun. Okay, that's why you don't see anyone doing it. I think even School of the American Rifle, whenever he does anything with a lower receiver, he explains it, shows you the parts, but he has to do it all off camera. Well, see, that's another thing. You see somebody else has something, they're not suspended and they're not pulling their video down. So either these are old videos that nobody is hitting on and doesn't alert the AI, or I don't know. I don't know how the hell it works. Okay, but it's hard to understand, and it just, if you want to do that, I get a Rumble uh, channel, put them on Rumble, and you're in with the MeWe stuff. Post them on my on a refugee camp. Just post them up there, you know, and do them on Rumble. Maybe you get some more views out of it, but that's what I'd do. I'd open a Rumble account. You know, over the years, I'm getting to where I get about, you know, where I get 300 views on YouTube. Now I'm getting about 70, 80 on Rumble instead of 5 or 10, like I used to. Yeah, hit the like button. Don't know what the hell I'll end up getting. No, it don't work because, you know, I'm making bullets. That's why I made the video. I explained the bullets. I measure the bullets. You know, don't work that way. They do go through there. And plus, I was telling people that you know, if they sent me some, you know, payola, I'd send them some of the bullets. And that's what that pissed them off. And on one of them, and they suspended me. Because when I was breaking molds in, I'd make a whole ton of bullets and get some out there, but can't do that no more. Can't do any kind of shit no more. Ah. Let's see, most expensive factory in the world. Do. Look at all this Valentine's Day sale. Yeah, don't know. Yeah, first 47-inch long. Yeah, you can't fake them. Or what happens is people can report you. If you got somebody that's got a bug up their ass and hates your ass, the minute you put anything on there, they can report you. Okay, see, that's another thing. I think some people get kind of caught on that crap too. All right, because you can hit the red flag or report this video or something. And I think maybe, because like, Navy vet there was saying, I see people doing the same thing, but they're not getting hit. And you don't know if somebody's just cruising through and finding this or whatever. Because we get some suspicious people show up here in these comment sections that really ain't here to discuss guns or nothing. Start talking about strange things, and you never know, especially the political ones. Then it got really weird. Uh, but no, see, I'm lucky if I get 20, 24 people in a chat. When I first started this, I used to get like 80 people in these chats. Uh, and I really haven't done that in a while. And I don't care to because that's when we have trouble with people flooding comments and talking about bizarre and insane things. But that's kind of calmed down. Yeah, because I'm probably going to wind this up in a little bit. So I'll see you later. Have a good trip now. You already asked me that in the last one. Chats. Yeah, or something. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't understand that bots. I don't know if they sent them out to do weird shit. Yeah, they don't like freedom. That's it. Well, speaking of which, I gotta go check in. Somebody wants me to do a job for them, make them some bushings for something. I gotta go and get a hold of them, and they got some material for me to machine up for them over this week. A couple other things I gotta get doing. So we're gonna wind it up for today. And as always, thank you all for coming. Sorry about technical problems, and I will see you guys next week. There you go. I'm glad. Steelhead, yep. All righty.